In the span of just a few weeks, Donald Trump has worked his way through a catalog of infomercial scams, hawk and bargain bin collector coins, cheaply made $100,000 gold watches, and now hurricane relief funds. Which is interesting considering that Donald Trump believes the climate crisis is a hoax.
All of this with the global warming and that, a lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax. I mean, it's a money-making industry, okay? It's a hoax.
And like a true con man, whenever Donald Trump can take advantage of people's pain and suffering to make money, he will, like having his campaign finance director organize a GoFundMe for the victims of Hurricane Helene. Trust me when I tell you, this latest scam gets shady real quick. But according to Trump, hurricane victims shouldn't worry. In fact, they should be grateful.
The seas will rise over the next 400 years, 1/8 of an inch, you know. Which means basically you have a little more beachfront property, okay?
Sure, you may have lost everything in your life, but hey, at least you've got beachfront property. So according to a GoFundMe fundraiser, President Donald J. Trump has launched this GoFundMe campaign as an official response for MAGA supporters to offer their financial assistance to their fellow Americans impacted by Hurricane Helene. And it's organized by Trump's campaign finance director, Meredith O'Rourke. You might remember her from another GoFundMe scam authorized by Donald Trump, the fundraiser for Butler, Pennsylvania victims. And how fragile is Donald Trump's ego that he has to have his name on there to authorize it?
You are a sad, strange little man.
Now, much like the Butler GoFundMe, this one for Hurricane Helene has provided no proof of helping said victims, and after getting called out for how shady their latest fundraiser is, O'Rourke updated the GoFundMe to say, "We will disperse to those who have been impacted. We have selected Samaritan's Purse and Water Mission as the recipients of this generosity. We have made an initial disbursement and will continue providing more funds as support continues to come in." But even after naming the recipient, there is still no transparency about how much of the current $4 million in donations have been handed over, or even proof of transfer. As of filming this episode, some of the top donations are $500,000 from Steve Witkoff, a real estate investor and Trump supporter who gave a very boring speech at the RNC, $500,000 from former Georgia Senator Kelly Loeffler, and even $100,000 from UFC CEO Dana White. Now, I just want to point out, because this part is very important, Donald Trump, the guy who brags to his cult about being a billionaire, has not donated a penny toward this hurricane fundraiser. And I think an important question is to ask, why wouldn't Trump and Meredith O'Rourke just say, go donate directly to Samaritan's Purse, or transfer ownership of the fundraiser into the hands of the nonprofit? But I think we all know the answer to that. They have to take a cut off the top, you know, for all the hard work they did. Like how Trump flew to Georgia and diverted valuable security resources from the disaster area so he could hold a little press conference to talk about himself, spread lies, and blame President Biden.
We do need some help from the federal government. They have to get together, ideally with the governor. The governor needs to... He's been trying to get them, and I'm sure they're going to come through. But he's been calling the president, hasn't been able to get him.
Let me get this straight. He's lying. And the governor told him he was lying. The governor told me he was lying. I've spoken to the governor, spending time with him, and he told me he's lying. I don't know why he does this. And the reason I get so angry about it, I don't care about what he says about me, but I care what he communicates to the people that are in need. He implies that we're not doing everything possible. We are. And you spoke to the governor, I assume you heard the Republican governor of Georgia talk about that he was on the phone with me more than once. So that's simply not true, and it's irresponsible.
He just said, hey, what do you need? And I told him, you know, we got what we need. We'll work through the federal process. He offered that if there's other things we need, just to call him directly, which I appreciate that.
But despite the lies that Trump and his MAGA influencers are pushing, the Biden administration has been proactively collaborating with governors from affected states, including North Carolina's Governor Cooper.
We have rescue teams from all over the country right now, from over 20 states. Federal rescue teams, our National Guard is fully, we have over 700 activated. This is going to have to be a sustained response. Talking with the president a couple of times today, talking with the vice president, the FEMA director is on the ground. She's going to stay in North Carolina. It is amazing, heartbreaking, and encouraging at the same time to see everybody working together so well right now.
In South Carolina's Governor McMaster.
The federal government is helping us well. They're embedded with us, and there's no asset out there that we have not already accessed. He said that whatever we need to let him know, and we're doing that. Also, Secretary Buttigieg called yesterday and said the same thing, and also Deanie Creswell for FEMA has also called. So, and a number of the governors have called. So we're we're getting assistance, and we're asking for everything we need.
And Virginia's Governor Youngkin.
I'm incredibly appreciative of the rapid response and the cooperation from the federal team at FEMA.
We have been coordinating across all fronts. I have to say, pre-positioning all of the resources ahead of the storm was critical. And we were able to do the exact same thing. We have been, Sean, I have to say, working well with FEMA. They, in fact, were moving very quickly over the last few days for us, and getting these resources has been critically important.
Trump's lies are not only irresponsible and reckless, they're not presidential. But remember, Trump doesn't care about Americans. He'll do or say anything to keep the focus on him. And with Harris's campaign surpassing Trump's, he desperately needs to look good in the public eye. That's why he launched the GoFundMe fundraiser, has his MAGA influencer spreading lies online, and claiming to facilitate the distribution of relief supplies. Actually, Samaritan's Purse doing that. Remember them from earlier with the GoFundMe donations?
Suspicious.
Also, Trump's claim falls apart immediately because on September 27th, Samaritan's Purse tweeted that response specialists were on the way to areas hardest hit by Hurricane Helene. One of those places being Valdosta, Georgia, where Trump had his photo op and lied about Biden. So while Donald Trump bitches and whines like a petulant child desperate for attention, Vice President Kamala Harris is actually working on solutions with FEMA.
To everyone who has been impacted by this storm, and to all of those of you who are rightly feeling overwhelmed by the destruction and the loss, our nation is with you. And President Biden and I, and all of the folks behind me, are with you. We will continue to do everything we can to help you recover and to help you rebuild, no matter how long it takes.
But before we dig in more, I want to thank today's sponsor, Lumen. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It's a device that measures your metabolism through your breath. And on the app, it lets you know if you're burning fat or carbs and gives you tailored guidance to improve your nutrition, workouts, sleep, and even stress management. And all you have to do is breathe into your Lumen first thing in the morning and you'll know what's going on with your metabolism, whether you're burning mostly fats or carbs. Then, Lumen gives you a personalized nutrition plan for that day based on your measurements. You can also breathe into it before and after workouts and meals, so you know exactly what's going on in your body in real time. And Lumen will give you tips to keep you on top of your health game. Your metabolism is your body's engine. It's how your body turns the food you eat into the fuel that keeps you going. Because your metabolism is at the center of everything your body does, optimal metabolic health translates to a bunch of benefits, including easier weight management, improved energy levels, better fitness results, better sleep, etc. I love how Lumen gives you recommendations to improve your metabolic health. It can also track your cycle as well as the onset of menopause and adjust your recommendations to keep your metabolism healthy through hormonal shifts, so you can keep up your energy and stave off cravings. So if you want to take the next step in improving your health, go to lumen.me/Gabe to get 15% off your Lumen. That's lumen.me/Gabe for 15% off your purchase. Thank you, Lumen, for sponsoring this episode.
So Donald Trump and his supporters are running the same old tired playbook that they did with Maui and they did with East Palestine. So not only was Joe Biden on top of this, he signed the disaster declarations even before the storms hit to make sure that there would be no delay in goods and services. Donald Trump's social media posts contain blatant lies, like Governor Kemp can't reach the president. Governor Kemp gave a press conference yesterday where he said, I just spoke to the president. He has promised me every single thing that I need. McMaster from South Carolina, also a conservative, getting everything that he wants, and then Roy Cooper as well. And there's only one president that we are talking about who actually has denied relief for one of these states. In 2017, Roy Cooper asked after Hurricane Matthew for a lot of money, and he got 1% of his ask. They denied 99% of what he was asking for after that hurricane came. There are 3,300 FEMA personnel there, 5,500 National Guardsmen from 11 states, and search and rescue from 19 states. That doesn't reduce the devastation of this and how horrific it is, but to say that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are out to lunch during this, or they're sitting on a beach reclining there, they are clearly giving them what they need. They will be showing up when it is appropriate. And it's different for Donald Trump, who is not in office. He's just a guy trying to be president again to show up and throw some bounty at people versus someone who's actually the commander in chief and doesn't want to distract from what's going on. And as Dana said, Governor Cooper said, I will let you know when it is appropriate for you to come. And same goes for Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, all of it.
The last person who should be handling, coordinating, or even endorsing hurricane relief funds is Donald Trump. In 2018, the Trump Foundation was shut down after a New York investigation found that he misused funds, leading to a ban on running charities in the state. Then Eric Trump was found funneling money from St. Jude's Children's charity events to the Trump Organization. A charity for kids, that's how fucking evil these people are. Oh, and how could I forget Eric's karaoke singing wife, Laura Trump, who directed $2 million toward Trump properties via a dog rescue charity. Why do Republicans hate dogs so much? Donald Trump and his family have a long history of exploiting charities and people for their money. Trump grifted $250 million from his supporters to fund the big lie, a scam that he promised would go toward his election defense fund, except it didn't because it never existed. But just to bring it back to hurricanes for a moment, in 2022, while people were seeking shelter and trying to keep their families safe during Hurricane Ian, this asshole grifter sent out an email and a text message begging people for money. And just to be clear, Trump didn't ask for donations for hurricane victims, he asked for himself. Prez Trump, my new video is live. I've activated your link. View before it expires.
We have a major fundraising deadline coming up, and there's never been a time like this. Our country has never been so disrespected. Our country has never been so low, certainly in the minds of others, and especially the leaders of other countries all over the world. We have to change it. We have to bring our country back. We made America great, and now we're going to have to make America great again. So I say, whatever you can do, help out. We have to meet the deadline. The midterms are coming up. It's going to be one of the most important elections in the history of our country. So I hope you can help up and help out. We really appreciate it, and good luck.
Also, it wasn't even a new video. He reused an old one. What kind of lowlife begs his supporters for money while their lives are literally being destroyed by a hurricane? Donald Trump, that's who. A guy so apathetic to other people's suffering, he'll use a natural disaster to siphon off his supporters. And if you're asking yourself, did Trump donate any relief funds or even message his supporters about Hurricane Ian? Well, I think you know the answer. Of course not. I mean, why would Trump ever give other people money, especially those affected by a hurricane, when he doesn't even know what a hurricane is? If you recall, Donald Trump wanted to nuke hurricanes to stop them from hitting the US. Just want to repeat that. Donald Trump wanted to nuke hurricanes. This moron literally suggested multiple times to senior Homeland Security and national security officials that they explore using nuclear bombs to stop hurricanes from hitting the United States. Seriously, how in the actual is this guy even a presidential candidate?
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
Trump's latest scheme is just another chapter in a long saga of self-serving stunts. Remember in 2017 when Trump threw paper towel rolls into a crowd in Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria hit? Then he turned around, patted himself on the back and said, all in a hard day's work. And then, in 2021, it was confirmed that Trump officials blocked Puerto Rico from receiving hurricane aid. And that's not even all of it. The Trump administration also obstructed an investigation looking into why it was depriving the U.S. territory of congressionally approved funds.
Cool.
Oh, and remember in 2019 when Trump altered the path of Hurricane Dorian with his Sharpie? Even after the National Weather Service stressed that no impacts from Hurricane Dorian will be felt across Alabama, he grabbed a Sharpie and added another circle like he was back in kindergarten doing arts and crafts. This is what happens when you let a moron into the Oval Office. When America is in need, we need to look to actual leaders with experience and wisdom, like President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, not some two-bit charlatan stealing money and taking credit. So this November, make sure to vote for the ticket that actually knows what they're doing. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Well, that's a wrap for today. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to follow me. I am Gabe Sanchez. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to check out the audio version of What Was That, perfect for when you're on the go or just relaxing. Catch every episode wherever you listen to podcasts. And finally, if you want to help the show grow and support us financially, consider becoming a member of my Patreon at patreon.com/IamGabeSanchez. So until next episode, I'm Gabe Sanchez, and this has been What Was That?